This is Kayla's Bookish Vibe. Kayla's Bookish Vibe.
Hey, what's up? Hello. If you are new here, my name is Kayla and you are watching Kayla's Bookish Vibes. And in today's video, we are going to try and get our reading life back on track. I don't want to say I'm in a reading slump because I have been reading. I just haven't been completing the books that I'm reading because I've been indulging in other hobbies. More on that in just a second. But we have two books. I'm in the middle of both of these books. The first book that we're going to be finishing in this video is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I'm actually like 65 to 70% through this book. This is a reread for me. I used to claim that this was my favorite book back in high school. If you would have asked high school Kayla, what is your favorite book? Their Eyes Were Watching God instantly was the one that came out of my mouth. Rereading this for the first time since reading it as a teenager. Now, as a 33-year-old woman who has been married for 12 years, I now understand that 16, 17-year-old Kayla knew nothing about what Janie was talking about. Nothing. I loved this book because of the writing style that Zora Neale Hurston wrote it in, and I loved being able to read the words and hear the people talking that way. I was obsessed with that. I know there are so many people who actually don't enjoy reading this book because of that exact reason. I loved it. You guys know how I feel about my Black Southern dialect, okay? I loved it. But now reading it and watching Janie figure things out for herself, figure out who she is, what she wants, what she doesn't want. Listen, some of the lessons that Janie learned in these, less than 200 pages, I'm just like, wow, I wish I would have read this book again, like reread this book again, maybe 5 years ago when I was like in the middle of learning some of these things. Wish I would have reread it then. Anyway, we need to finish this book today. And then to switch gears completely, the other book is The Ballad of Fallen Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. This is book 2 in the Moonfall series. I've actually been reading this book for months. I picked this book up when it initially released, and I've been reading it since then. I'm not blaming it on the book. I'm blaming it on myself. I am a mood reader. So I've been picking this book up when I'm in the mood for fantasy. And then when I fall out of the mood for fantasy, I go to something else. But I really just need to get at least 100 pages of this book read today because I'm tired of reading it. And I know it's affecting the way that I feel about the book. I also need to kind of straighten up in here because it's a little disarray. You know, I have a little toddler. I can see her things in here that are not supposed to be in here. I need to clean that up, and I also need to dust my shelves. I don't think I dusted my shelves since the beginning of the year, so that's been like 6 months. We need to dust that. What has been keeping me from reading? What has been distracting me? I have fallen victim to planner and JournalTok. It's time for the girlies to be discussing what they're getting for 2027. I'm in this echo chamber of sorts of nothing but planner and journal content. So on Instagram and TikTok, that's all I'm seeing. But it's like, girl, I gotta get out of this echo chamber. Like, y'all can't have no more of my money. I don't know what y'all doing for 2027 because I'm still gonna be doing this for 2027. So I wanted to share my little planner journal ecosystem with you really quick. First, my cover. It's from Cloth and Paper. This is their A5 Slim. Front, I just have this little spade charm, which is so cute. And then my little gold pen loop. And the pen that I've been using in all of my journals and planners, honestly, is the Rytech in 05. I'm really trying not to fall victim to fountain pens. And I'm just like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. First thing I have is my actual planner and journal, which is from Sterling Ink. And it is in their N1 size. Kind of like a Hobonichi in the layout, but it's a little bit bigger. This is a Hobonichi dupe. So literally, like, this is the size of a Hobonichi. It also has the same layout as a Hobonichi. But I got this a while back when I first fell victim to Planner Talk, and I was using it to see if I could even plan in something like a Hobonichi because it was so small. Only like $9 on Amazon. I picked this up. It's also undated, so I can get back into it whenever I want to. And I thought I was just going to use this for the rest of the year until it became time to buy an actual Hobonichi. But I realized I don't want to fight the Hobonichi hoes over the Hobonichis. And I just don't care. I don't care that much to get a Hobonichi. So I started to look for things that had the same layout because the layout is what I enjoyed. So I was looking on TikTok and someone mentioned Sterling Ink. So that's when I ended up finding my Sterling Ink in the N1. Same layout and almost the same size, but the N1 is a little bit bigger. And that little bit amount of space actually matters so much for me with the writing space. I have the N1. They also have an A5 Slim, which is a little bit even bigger than this, but not necessarily a full A5. I love this size. This is also, I guess, technically like your standard traveler size. Like it would be equivalent to that. I love this size. Anyway, this is what I have been using to plan. But in the back, y'all have been journaling my life away. Like every day or every other day, I've been loving it. I actually picked this up when it was on sale for 50% off during their 4th of July sale. This is a June start and it's a full year. So it runs from June of 2026 to June of 2027. My dilemma now though is when June 2027 comes around, I'll have to either get another academic planner or hop back into this undated Hobonichi for the second half of the year until the new planners roll out for 2028. Or I could just buy a new planner at the beginning of 2027, but I don't want to. Like, I want to have this be completely full of a year's worth of like memories. And I love having my journal and my planner like in the same situation because I love the idea of going back to flip through to see what I was doing during the time and what my thoughts were during that time. You know, like it's like a time capsule. I love that. That's the first thing that's in my little cloth and paper setup. And then I also have this little notebook that's for like notes and quotes, quite literally notes and quotes. Brain dumping, if you want to think of it that way. Also literal quotes where I just like write quotes. Confidence builds after we take action, not before. That's why you'll never feel ready to start. So start your booktube channel. All of these things, more quotes, notes and quotes, brain dumping, random things that I don't necessarily want to take up space in my journal, but I still want to write them down, live in there. And then I have some pictures of my family. On the other side, I just have pictures of all 3 of my babies when they were actual babies. And then in this little zipper pouch are like stickers and stuff that I use in my planner. Then in the back is like this folder, calendars and stuff of things that are going on locally in our community. Perfect for a homeschool mom. Things, free things. I'm talking like from our museum, our public library, things that I want to keep up with, live in there. And in this little booklet, this is a new edition. I just got this from the Dollar Tree and it flips up. So I just have it like stuck down in the back pocket. And that's how I keep my grocery list now. $1.25. I love that. I'm so happy with this. I don't actually need another planner. But in the echoes chamber that I have created for myself, that's all everyone is talking about on all of my socials. And I'm like, do I need another planner? Do I need a separate notebook for journaling? It's like, no, you don't. So what I'm doing is I'm removing myself from that echo chamber. I have what I need. I don't need anything else.
Just to be clear, don't make this a thing. Thank you.
Okay. I do need to dust my shelves, and there are also some books that I need to scan into Labib because I did do a little book shopping. I'm so excited about that. So let's go ahead and do the book scanning first, dust, and then we'll get nice and cozy and read. It's super dark outside. We had some thunderstorms come through. Literally, it knocked over the tree next door. Like, my neighbor's tree is over their fence and in their backyard. And can you imagine being at work all day, coming home to finding a big tree in your backyard? I can't. I need to put these books away, so I guess we'll do a little impromptu haul. These books are from Books A Million. You're going to be seeing a nice little short on my channel. When it pops up, it's going to be here on YouTube. There should be 2 shorts, actually. You're going to be seeing 2 shorts. When those pop up from Books A Million, I need you to help me out, sister. Help a mother out, okay? I just need you to engage with the post. Like the post, comment on the post, help a sister out, okay? I don't know when those will go up, but they will be going up eventually. But these are the books that I got from Books A Million. With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. It's a thriller, maybe even a horror. I just know that Riley Sager writes really great atmospheric reads. People Like Us by Jason Mott. You guys know, I think I did in my Kobo haul where I was showing you guys all of the ebooks that I have been purchasing. I wanted to read this book before I read Hell of a Book, or did I want to read Hell of a Book before this one? I don't know, but I got the other book, Hell of a Book, on my Kobo for like $1.99, and then I saw this one. I was like, okay, you might as well get it physically. So I got this book. Also got I'll Watch Your Baby by Nina Veal. I'm so mad. I actually had this checked out from Libby on my Kobo, but it returned before I could finish reading it. I think I only got to like 3 or 4 chapters, but it returned before I could continue reading. So annoying. I absolutely loved Listen to Your Sister by this author last year, so I'm hoping that I love this one just as much. And if I did, I was going to end up buying it anyway, so I went ahead and bought it. Dagger Mouth. Listen, I feel like at this point everyone knows about this book, has either read this book and enjoyed this book, or are just very familiar with it. So, you know, here I am on the bandwagon. I also got The Odyssey. This was in their bargain section, so it was only like $6. Obviously, the movie just came out. Will I be reading this eventually? I probably will. I just don't know when. But I wanted to get it because it was on sale. And everyone's talking about the movie. And I don't want to see the movie, but it made me intrigued to read the book. I know I read this book in high school, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. But I'm so excited. Gallon, A Romance in Black by Walter Mosley. I have books on my shelf by Walter Mosley. I've never read a book by Walter Mosley. And I think I want to start with his newest release. Is that taboo? Like, I know most people probably think you should start with like one of his older releases or one of his most popular releases, like A Devil in the Blue Dress. But I don't. I want to start with this one. So that's what I'm going to do. Broken Dove by Danny Francis. This is book 2 in the Silver Elite series. Silver Elite to me was so mid. I can't even lie to you. That is also like a dystopian romance. It was so mid. It was enjoyable. Sure, like I enjoyed my time with it. But there was nothing. The whole time I was reading the book, it was just like, meh. Okay. Then the end of the book made me think, damn. Now I have to read book 2. And the last book I got was for my kiddos. And that is The Pumpkin Thief. I can't wait to read this with them. They're going to be so excited. My boys specifically, because there is a book called The Leaf Thief that we read every fall. We probably didn't read it last fall because they're getting older and they don't care about picture books anymore. But thankfully, I have baby girl and she loves for me to read picture books to her. So I have that to go like on her fall wall. I'm currently planning out like a little book corner for her in our homeschool space where I could put the books on eye level for her, and then I'll switch them out because I have so many picture books from when my boys were her age. Luckily, I didn't get rid of any of those. So many books. So many books. So many books. I can switch her books out, and this is going to be so fun to add to our fall wall. And my boys already know all of the books that we have because they read all of those books and we read them a lot. Like, we read our books. So when they see this one, they're going to be like, wait, that's a new one. And it's a continuation of, it's kind of like they're going to be excited. They're probably going to try to suppress their excitement, but I know my boys and they're going to be excited. Those are all the books that I picked up from Books A Million, but now I need to scan them in my Libib app. If you are new here and you're not familiar with Libib, if you have a book collection, or if you have, honestly, I think you can also do like coloring book collections, puzzle collections, all types of collections in Libib. Or if you're even growing a collection, like don't wait till your collection gets to a certain size and then be like, okay, now I need Libib. Start when it's small so that it can grow with you. And it's a lot easier to scan all of your books instead of trying to sit and scan like 600 books, which is what I did. Sorry, I just had lasagna for dinner, so I had to make sure I didn't have anything in my teeth. We are here now. We have straightened up our book room, which is so nice to be in here when it's nice and clean and it smells good because I got my little wallflower going. I'm about to turn on maybe some lo-fi. It just feels really good to be in here. But we're now finally sitting down to read. I can't decide if I want to go ahead and finish this book or if I want to read the 100 pages of this first. I think I'm going to finish this book. I feel like if I do the 100 pages of this first, I'm going to be over the reading versus finishing this book and then swapping to something completely different. Well, I feel like will make me feel refreshed. Chapter 15, page 137. That's the afterward. So we only 60 pages, a little under 60 pages. We'll go ahead and finish this. Give you guys my final thoughts and let you know if this is still my favorite book. Point blank, period. Is this my favorite book of all time? Or if I feel differently. Let's get into it. I know I'm dressed like it's fall when really it's like extremely hot and muggy outside, but it is extremely cold inside. We like to keep our AC blasting. Let's get into it. The names of these people in this book is so funny. what? Period. Use something to make a man forget to get old and forget to die. Janie was that girl, y'all. Wow. Janie said, I couldn't stand it if he was to quit me. Don't know what I'd do. He can take most any little thing and make summertime out of it when its time is dull. Then we live off of that happiness he made till some more happiness come along. Janie. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I don't remember this specific part that I'm on. I don't remember this part from when I first read it. And this character is about to drive me insane. I can't hear her thoughts for much longer. So I need for us to get past her. This is why you should reread your favorite books, especially if it's been years since you last reread it. There will actually be moments and things and details that you don't remember. Granted, I was literally a teenager. I was a child when I read this book last. So I remember all of the key core concepts. Obviously, I've also seen the movie. I don't think this character was in the movie, but the character in this book that I'm just reading about, she's not a core character. She's just like obviously a character here to give a certain aspect and to show the contradiction in a certain type of person. I don't remember this from reading it as a kid, but I'm just like, what the hell? And her thought process is crazy. But this is why you should reread your favorite books, so that you can experience them in a new way, in a different way. Listen, one thing these other folks gonna do is read you to filth. Read you to absolute filth. So much poetry in this book. I can see why I really enjoyed the writing style as a kid and her way with words, although I'm not convinced that I appreciated it the way that I can now, the poetry. I love when you can read a book and you read why the book is called what it's called in the book. So you read the title in the book essentially. When you get to the part, it's like, oh, so this is why you titled the entire book what you titled it. I love when authors work that into the book. It's just something about like, aha, I don't care if they work it into the beginning, if they work it into the middle. I do feel like there's a bigger payoff when you work it into the end, because it's like you've read all this and now you're finally getting to the title of the book type of thing. But I just got to why it's called what it's called. Something that I am loving this time around versus what I know for a fact I did not get when I was 16 is all of the internal questions that Janie has for herself as a woman, for living life as a woman in general, but also as a wife and what that looks like. And how at the beginning of Janie's journey or Janie's story, she's trying to do things according to what other people believe these things should look like. She wants to have what her grandmother believed she deserved, or believed what Janie should want. Janie didn't necessarily know what she wanted or who she wanted or how she wanted to live, but her grandmother had set these expectations for her, so she was just trying to follow through with those. And so then she gets married and it's like there's these expectations and these responsibilities that this husband wants, but Janie realizes this is not what I want. I want something different. I want something more. I feel like there's something else out there for me. Watching Janie like follow through with her thoughts and her feelings and learn herself. I think that's what I'm loving, is watching Janie learn herself. And she has such a poetic inner monologue, inner dialogue. It's so beautifully put and so relatable. I was not a child bride. I was just young when I got married, but still so much life to live, right? So much things to learn and grow. Watching Janie learn herself and grow, but to be able to do it as the reader and hear like her, no matter how country it may be, her poetic inner thoughts and how she's expressing these things. Beautiful to witness just as a woman myself, who also had to go through something not necessarily similar in like how he treated her, but just in the fact that we all have to learn ourselves. And how that's a different experience when you can learn yourself unattached to someone versus when you are learning yourself while also being with someone and changing, right? Unfortunately, Janie didn't have the freedom to grow and change. And so she kind of did it a little bit later in life. Wish I would have read this book 5 years ago. I think it would have really helped me articulate and have language for things that I didn't know how to say. I eventually got there, but this would have helped me get there faster, if that makes sense. This is a book that I would gift to a young woman. Honestly, this is a gift that I would gift to a newlywed. This is a gift that I would give someone who's been married 5 years, 10 years. Like, it's a gift I would give to a woman. To a woman. You don't even have to be married to understand the struggles and difficulties and joys of learning yourself. I don't really know if I'm articulating myself well here, but I am enjoying this more so than I did the first time around. I think I'm also just realizing how there's so much in here that I didn't grasp the first time. And it's kind of cute and endearing to think that 16-year-old Kayla really loves this book, but actually wasn't grasping what was in this book whatsoever. There's just so much growth. Reading this book, I think, is showing me in a snapshot like how much growth has happened for me over my life, and how, you know, the different person I am now as a 33-year-old wife and mom than when I was a 16-year-old girl who thought she knew everything and she knew absolutely nothing. I'm convinced that Janie is an Aquarius because she has such a beautiful inner world. Like, the way she processes things, she doesn't just like experience them, she's also trying to understand them. She just has like a very dynamic and poetic inner world. And I love when Zora puts us in that inner world for a second. That is where you feel the most connected to Janie, and that is when Janie becomes the most relatable to you, because you realize that even if you're not there now, there was probably a moment in your life where you were there. And to have someone explain their inner world and it closely resembles your inner world, it's just like, is there ever an original experience? Like, have I ever had an original thought? Someone somewhere has experienced what you're experiencing. And if you can't find the words to explain that, if you read enough books, they'll help you find the words to explain those things. Let me finish this book, child. We have finished. You got to go there to know there. Ugh, so much wisdom. Is this my favorite book of all time? I don't know. It is, I don't know. But I've read some really amazing books. And I feel like some of the books that I have read since the last time I read this book at 16, I love just as much and has impacted me just as much. I think this is a book that sits amongst some of my favorite books of all time, but I don't know if I would say like this is my favorite book hands down of all time. I don't think I have one yet. Read so many great books, and I feel like there are so many more great books to read that I don't want to like give that spot away prematurely, if that makes sense. I did love this book though. I loved rereading it. I loved remembering who I was when I read it for the first time, and knowing who I am now reading it, and understanding the differences and the growth that has taken place in between. I loved the Southern euphemisms. Live for a good Southern euphemism. Like, nobody can read you like a Southern person can read you. And will leave you confused. Like, it's a Black classic for a reason. It's just really funny to me that there's nothing new under the sun. That literally we're all just living and learning the same lessons over and over again. I highly enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that I reread it. I do feel like this got me out of my reading slump. I was in somewhat of a reading slump where I really wasn't in the mood to pick up books to read. Again, that was because I was doing other hobbies, but I just wasn't interested in reading. And so I was like, let me just reread something that I know I love. And I highly recommend that. Like when you're in a reading slump, think about some of the books that you've loved the most. Like what is a book that you would say, I wish I could reread this for the first time again? Reread those books, revisit those books when you're in a reading slump. You're not going to enjoy them any less just because you're rereading it. In fact, you will probably enjoy it more. So really glad that I reread this. I need to go put baby girl down. We need to do nighttime routines, all the things. I'll take a break, maybe take a shower, come back in my pajamas, and we'll read the 100 pages that we need to read of this fantasy. Okay, hear me out. I was supposed to come back so that we could read the 100 pages that I needed to read of this book, and I didn't. Don't mind my nail. I'm putting on my press-on nail. I had every intention of coming back to you guys, but I have a toddler and they're unpredictable. Some nights bedtime routine goes exactly as it's supposed to go, exactly as it went for the past 2 weeks in a row. And then some nights she does what she wants to do and I struggle. And that was one of those nights, okay? Last night was just one of those nights. And after I finally got her down to bed, I just decided to treat myself to breakfast for dinner and watch episode 1 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. It was a good time. Did anyone else watch episode 1? Let me know down in the comments if you did and what your thoughts were on that episode. It's just a very realistic vlog because here I am taking a shower, doing my nighttime routine for myself, and I remember the video that's supposed to go up tomorrow, which is actually today because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You never actually finished it. You didn't finish it, babe. This is very realistic. Very Kayla. Honestly, I think I'm just going to soft DNF this book. It's very clear that I don't feel like reading it. It's very clear that it's just not what I'm in the mood for right now. So instead of forcing myself to read it and probably hating it, I'm just going to put it to the side and I'll pick it up when I'm in the mood for this type of fantasy specifically. I think this, even if I'm in the mood for fantasy, it just hasn't been this type of fantasy, and that's probably what's keeping me from finishing this book. Also, I'm not enjoying it as much as I did when the moon hatched. I loved when the moon hatched, couldn't put it down. This one I'm just like, I don't know if it's because so much time has passed in between me reading it that I just don't care as much. It's not that I don't care, I just don't care as much, and I'm not in the mood for this type of fantasy. So this book has been on my mind since we completed it together yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago at this point. I have been trying to figure out what about this book has changed for me. And I think I'm coming to realize that it's not necessarily the book that has changed. Obviously, the book has not changed. I have changed. My thought process has changed. I have more life experiences at this point. So I feel differently about this book and some of the characters in this book and some of the things that has happened in this book. Something that was really, I don't want to say irritating me, but what was irritating me was the fact that Janie's self-discovery was always tied to a man. I just kept thinking to myself, like, this book is all about Janie discovering herself, learning herself, figuring out her likes and her dislikes, but why did it have to be attached to a man in every instance? I do understand that we learn ourselves through people. Like humans, we learn ourselves through interacting with other people. You learn that you're a selfish person by not being able to care for others, right? But you never know that you're a selfish person until you're interacting with other people and somehow you can't seem to care for anyone but yourself. That's how you learn that you're selfish, right? Or that you need words of affirmation because of your relationship with other people. But here's the thing, it doesn't always have to be like a romantic relationship, and it definitely doesn't always have to involve a man. But with Janie, it felt like her entire life was going from one marriage to the next marriage to the next, and it was just like, girl, when are you ever going to learn yourself for yourself by yourself? Does that make sense? But then I could also argue with myself, and I have been arguing with myself, that that was just the way Janie was learning herself. Like, that's just how it presented. It didn't necessarily, it's not saying that all women can only learn themselves through men. It was just irritating to me that specifically Janie's way of learning herself had to be in a relationship. And I'm just like, well, Zora, why didn't you maybe show her learning herself through friendship, because I feel like you can learn so much about yourself, so much about the world around you through friendships. Your friendships teach you so much, like platonic friendships, or even just like relationships within your family dynamic. Like, why couldn't she learn more about herself through her grandmother or through other relatives? Or it was like, why did it have to be through a marriage? Obviously, that's not something I would have thought about at 16 years old. Like, that just wasn't the time that I was on then. So I thought that was interesting, that it was bothering me now as an adult. And I think that is what's keeping me from making it like my favorite book of all time, because it's not my favorite book of all time anymore. I love the fact that Janie literally, we start off with Janie at 16 years old, and that's literally how old I was when I read this book. And then we watch Janie grow from like 16, through her 20s, through her 30s, and we end with her in her 40s, and how much she has changed and grown and how different she is. And I'm just like, I'm such a different person. I don't feel the same way about this book because I'm a different person. It's just a lot of growth happening. Also, more and more lately, the books I have been reading have been connecting with things in my real actual life. And I was literally just talking to someone about being 40 and how when women are 40, like all of the 40 plus year old women that I know always say that their 40s is when they like hit their stride. You know, that's like when they really locked in and felt at their best. And it's funny to me that that's when, you know, Janie also felt her best. Arrived now, but she was 40 years old. So that honestly gives me so much hope, because I still feel like I'm just winging it. I literally just had that conversation with Brindy from here on BookTube. Real life. I don't know how my real life keeps connecting to books, but loved it. Loved seeing the growth in Janie, but I also loved how it also caused me to look at the growth in myself. Didn't necessarily love the fact that all of Janie's growth was somehow connected to a man. Also, Tea Cake. I don't know. I don't want to spoil the book. If you have read this book recently, or if you've, you know, read it at all and you want to talk about it with spoilers and all the things, please slide into my DMs on Bookstagram. Here's my @ please, because I need to vent about it. And maybe having someone else's perspective and thoughts will help me process some of my own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for staying. If you did stay to the end of today's video, even though we didn't get to this book, no regrets. I don't care. No regrets. It's here on my shelf. When I'm ready to get back into it, I will get back into it. I need to edit this video. The video that you are currently watching, I need to sit down and edit it. Thankfully, most of it is done. I just don't have an ending. So I just need to edit this last part. However, comment if you are watching this video right now, like as it has been uploaded, like in real time or on the same day, even a few days after. If it's been like 2 or 3 days since I've uploaded it and you're just now watching it, please go to my shorts here on YouTube and look at my latest short. Interact with it, comment on it, click the link for that short. Help me out, okay? I'm just a mom trying to make some coins on the internet doing something that she loves. So help me out, okay? I would really appreciate it. If you stayed till the very end and you want to let me know, please leave this emoji. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hype. I think that's all. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
Welcome to